You're too poor to matter." That's what my son said, right in front of 20 guests. I was holding his favorite pie. He thought I'd fade into the background like I always had, just the seamstress mom who gave up her dreams. But the will in my purse said otherwise. I raised him alone, sewed his graduation suit with fingers worn raw, then found out he was plotting to steal my inheritance. In this story, you'll see how I found the hidden safe, uncovered $1 million secret, and stood up for myself in front of everyone. If you've ever felt erased, this is your moment too. He tried to break me, smashed my sewing box at a farmer's market, shouted that I was nothing. But I pulled out that will, read it aloud, and the crowd gasped when they saw who it named. If you've ever been the silent one at the table, don't miss this, because what's hidden in that safe might just change everything. Before we step deeper into this story, I'd really love to know who's watching with me. If you're a mother who's ever felt overlooked, drop a 1 in the comments, or a 2 if you're just here to listen with an open heart. I read every number, and it helps me bring the next part even closer to you. Your presence here means something. So, shall we begin? The grilled chicken sizzled on the BBQ, but my son's words scorched my heart. I stood, unseen in their perfect world. The Austin sun blazed above, July heat pressing down on the backyard. Checkered tablecloths fluttered in the breeze. Ella Fitzgerald's velvet voice drifted from speakers, her jazz weaving through laughter and clinking glasses. My apple pie cooled on a table, its cinnamon aroma lost in the charcoal smoke stinging my eyes. The smoke mirrored the hurt swelling in my chest, sharp and raw. I adjusted my hand-stitched dress, its soft cotton worn from years of care. At 62, I'd sewn countless clothes, first for my son, then my daughter, stitching dreams into every seam. I'd raised them alone, a seamstress trading art school ambitions for their futures. My mother-in-law's locket tucked in my purse felt heavier today. Did it hold a secret I'd forgotten? I pushed the thought away, balancing the pie tray. My hands, calloused from needles, trembled slightly. My 10-year-old grandchild tugged my sleeve, her brown eyes wide. "You're pretty, Grandma," she whispered, her voice a soft anchor. I smiled, brushing her braid. She loved my stories of old Austin, of street fairs and starry nights. Her loyalty warmed me, a flicker in this cold crowd. My son, 38, stood by the grill, laughing with his in-laws. Their designer outfits gleamed, their wealth a silent wall between us. He'd faced career setbacks, I knew, and craved their approval, but his dismissal cut deeper than any needle. I stepped toward the grill, pie tray steady, hoping for a glance, a nod. The cinnamon scent faded as I neared the crowd. My daughter, 32, hovered nearby, her face tight. She'd resented me since I missed her high school graduation, working double shifts to pay bills. Her silence now hinted at guilt, but she said nothing. My husband, 63, sipped a beer, his tech startup consuming his thoughts. He'd forgotten my early sacrifices, the late nights sewing to fund his dreams. My best friend, 60, arrived late, her sharp eyes catching the tension. She'd lost her son to estrangement, her pain a mirror to mine. "Want some pie?" I offered, voice soft. My son glanced over, then turned back to his in-laws. Their laughter rang out, sharp as glass. One of them, a woman in pearls, leaned in, her voice carrying. "Why's she even here? Imagine standing there, holding the pie you baked with love, only to hear your own child laugh at your worth. If you were in her shoes, would you walk away or speak up?" Before we get to what she did next, drop a 5 in the comments if you're still here, because the next part might just shift something in you. My son grinned, egged on, and said loudly, "Mom's too poor to matter here." The words landed like a slap. Guests chuckled, their amusement a knife twisting in my gut. My daughter flinched, eyes dropping to the grass. My husband sipped his beer, oblivious. My heart pounded, hands trembling on the tray. The clink of glasses paused, Ella Fitzgerald's voice filling the void. "Why bother with that pie?" my son added, smirking. "It's not exactly gourmet." My daughter's voice cracked. "It's her recipe, stop it!" Her defense was weak, swallowed by the crowd's murmurs. My best friend's gaze met mine, urging me to stand tall. I set the tray down, my fingers brushing the locket in my purse. Love shouldn't erase me, I thought. I sowed their dreams, but I'm fading here. Fading. My chest tightened, hurt flooding every breath. I wasn't just their mother, I'd been their everything. Yet here, I was nothing. I turned, walking to the garden's edge, where daisies nodded in the breeze. The jazz softened, a distant hum. My hand closed around the locket, its cool metal grounding me. I'd been their backdrop too long, invisible in my own story. No more. Resolve stirred, quiet but fierce, a vow to reclaim my worth. My fingers grazed something in my purse. A folded note slipped in unnoticed. My son's handwriting scrawled, "Talk soon, Mom." A cryptic promise. Out of place. I unfolded the note, heart racing. Why does he want to talk now? The words blurred in the smoke, Ella Fitzgerald's voice rising like a question. Was I ever their mother, or just their servant? The garden's birds chirped faintly, waiting for my answer. The note's demand cut deeper than his insult. Did my son only see my wallet? I sat in my Austin apartment, the evening rain tapping the windows like a restless drum. It was July, just a day after the BBQ where my son's words, "Mom's too poor to matter," had sliced through me. Farmers market daisies wilted on my kitchen table, their petals drooping under the weight of neglect. A soft jazz tune, Ella Fitzgerald's voice hummed from the radio, its warmth clashing with the chill in my bones. My seamstress's thimble, dusty on the shelf, glinted faintly, a reminder of nights spent sewing to pay my son's college loans. My purse rested beside me, the note inside burning a hole in my thoughts. I unfolded it again, my fingers trembling. "Meet me. Talk assets," it read, in my son's sharp handwriting. Assets. The word stung. At 62, I'd stitched together a life for him, thread by thread, sacrificing my art school dreams. My mother-in-law's locket, still in my purse, felt heavy, its tiny key glinting in my palm. Was it tied to a secret in our old home? I pushed the locket aside, my gaze falling on the sewing machine. Its pedal creaked in my memory, nights blurring as I made his graduation suit, loans piling up unpaid. Hurt throbbed in my chest, but anger flickered beneath it, hot and new. The rain's patter softened as I gripped my phone, its screen glowing in the dim light. My son's name stared back, daring me to call. I didn't. Instead, it rang, his name flashing. My heart lurched. I answered, voice steady. "What do you want?" His voice came fast, edged with greed. "Mom, that family land's just sitting there. Sign it over. You're outdated, holding on to it." The word outdated hit like a slap, dismissing every late-night stitch, every dream I'd buried. "You're being selfish," he added, his tone cold. "Selfish," I snapped, anger rising. "I paid your way through college, every cent." A text buzzed, my best friend's name lighting up. "Don't let him bully you," it read. At 60, she knew this pain. Her own son lost to estrangement after her divorce. Her words fueled me, a spark in the dark. I paced, the floor creaking under my bare feet. My son's voice droned on, demanding, entitled. "It's for our future, Mom." Our? I saw his in-laws' faces, their designer clothes, their laughter at the BBQ. He wasn't fighting for us. He was fighting for them. My sacrifices built his world, but greed blinded him. I won't bend, I thought, the jazz swelling like a promise. "You're not getting the land," I said, my voice sharp. He scoffed, hanging up. The silence was heavy, rain tapping like a heartbeat. Anger pulsed through me, replacing the hurt that had clung since yesterday. I reached for the locket, its clasp clicking open. Inside its box, an old letter slipped out, yellowed and fragile. My mother-in-law's handwriting curled across it, mentioning a safe in our old Craftsman home. My breath caught. A safe? I'd never known. I held the letter, its edges soft from time. My best friend's text glowed on my phone, urging strength. My son's call echoed, his greed a shadow. I tucked the letter away, keeping its secret close. The jazz hummed, Ella's voice soft but sure. My sacrifices weren't for nothing, but they weren't for him anymore. Did my love teach him greed or survival? The question lingered, unanswered, as the letter's words burned in my mind. A safe, hidden. Where is it? The rain tapped on, waiting. The letter's secret warmed my heart, but my son's voice froze it. How far would he betray me? I stood in his upscale Austin home, the evening air thick with tension. It was July 2023, a week after his cruel words at the BBQ. "Mom's too poor to matter," had left me raw. String lights twinkled above the patio, casting soft glows on checkered tablecloths. Grilled chicken sizzled on a platter, its smoky scent mingling with the untouched apple pie I'd baked. Ella Fitzgerald's jazz flowed from speakers, her smooth voice failing to mask the unease. My eyes stung, not from smoke but from the hurt clawing at my chest. I smoothed my hand-stitched dress, its seams a map of my sacrifices. At 62, I'd sewn my son's future, thread by thread, giving up art school to raise him alone. The locket in my purse, my mother-in-law's keepsake, held a key that whispered of truth. Would it unlock justice? I clutched my purse, stepping onto the patio for the pre-birthday dinner, hoping to mend what was breaking. My son, 38, stood with his in-laws, his laughter sharp. His career setbacks fueled his greed. I knew, but his dismissal cut deeper than ever. My grandchild, 10, slipped beside me, her braid swinging. "Why's Dad mean, Grandma?" she asked, her voice soft but piercing. Her loyalty, rooted in my stories of old Austin's charm, steadied me. I squeezed her hand, smiling faintly. My daughter, 32, hovered near the table, her eyes avoiding mine. Her resentment over my absence at her graduation, working to pay their bills, still lingered, but guilt flickered in her gaze. My husband, 63, sipped wine, lost in thoughts of his tech startup. He'd forgotten the nights I sewed to fund his early dreams. My best friend wasn't here, her absence a quiet ache. The chicken sizzle faded as I neared the table, my apple pie in hand. "Made it fresh," I said, voice trembling. My son glanced over, then turned away, his in-laws smirking. My daughter shifted, her fingers twisting a napkin. My grandchild clung to my side, her question unanswered. I set the pie down, my heart pounding. Then it came, loud and cruel. "You're just a burden, Mom," my son snapped, his voice carrying to the guests. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, their eyes darting to me. My hands shook, the locket's weight grounding me. "You don't belong here," he added, his tone icy. My daughter's voice broke through. "She's our mother, stop!" Her defense was sharp but late, her eyes wet with guilt. My husband stayed silent, his wine glass still. The jazz swelled, Ella's voice a distant comfort. Family should lift, not crush, I thought. I'm not their shame. Hurt deepened, but anger surged, hot and fierce at this public humiliation. I stepped back, my breath ragged, catching my son's low voice to an in-law. "The land's ours soon. She won't fight." My stomach twisted. He was plotting to sell our family land, unaware of the letter's hint about a safe. My daughter leaned close, her whisper urgent. "I saw a key in his desk, Mom. It matches your locket." Her words were a spark, hinting at the safe's truth. I gripped my purse, the locket's key burning against my palm. My son's betrayal was clear, his greed isolating him. My daughter's defense marked her guilt's shift to remorse, a fragile bridge between us. I moved toward the patio's edge, the jazz softening, guests' murmurs fading. How long did I let their insults define me? My phone pinged, an email from my son flashing. "Sign the land over or else." My heart raced. What's his threat? The string lights flickered, Ella's voice rising, waiting for my answer. My son's email threatened, but my heart roared louder. I wasn't his pawn anymore. The morning sun poured into an Austin coffee shop, its warmth steadying my resolve. It was July 2023, a week after my son's betrayal at his dinner. His words, "You're just a burden," still echoing. Roasted beans filled the air, their rich scent mingling with the clink of mugs. Outside, the farmer's market hummed, vendors calling over piles of apples and daisies. I sat at a wooden table, the letter from my mother-in-law's locket box in my hand. It mentioned a safe, her secret. Could it hold my freedom? At 62, I'd traded art school dreams for my son's future, sewing late nights to pay his loans. His email, "Sign the land over or else," burned in my mind, a dismissal of every sacrifice. My fingers brushed the locket in my purse, its key a silent promise. I sipped my coffee, its bitterness matching my anger. My best friend, 60, slid into the seat across from me, her eyes sharp. She'd lost her son to estrangement after a divorce, her pain a mirror to mine. "What's that?" she asked, nodding at the letter. I pushed it toward her, my voice low. "It's about a safe. And this." I showed her the key. She read, her voice cracking as she spoke. "Your mother-in-law hid a safe behind a painting in that Craftsman house. My son turned his back on me, too. Don't let yours win." Her words struck deep, her shared pain urging me to fight. The mug's clink faded as I gripped the letter, anger hardening into defiance. I wasn't just a seamstress who'd faded into their backdrop. I was their mother, and I'd been erased too long. The market's chatter outside buzzed, a reminder of life beyond their greed. My phone rang, my daughter's name flashing. I answered, bracing myself. Her voice was shaky, raw. "Mom, I resented you missing my graduation. I was wrong. You worked for us. I found a code in his desk. It's for a safe." My 32-year-old daughter's remorse hit me, her apology a bridge over years of distance. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm with you." My best friend nodded, her gaze fierce. "You're worth more than their greed," she said. "Find that will." The jazz from the shop's speakers, Ella Fitzgerald's soft croon wrapped around me, fueling my resolve. Truth is my armor, I thought. I won't shrink for their comfort. I hung up, my daughter's code scrawled on a napkin. Defiance surged, a spark igniting into flame. I'd search the old home, uncover the safe, claim whatever truth it held. My phone buzzed again, a notification catching my eye. A recording, accidentally saved, blinked in my app. I played it, my breath catching. My son's voice low and scheming with his in-laws. "The land's ours. She'll sign it over." A pause, then. "She'll never find it." My heart raced. What was he hiding? The coffee shop's warmth felt distant, Ella's jazz a faint hum. My best friend's hand touched mine, her estrangement fueling her empathy. "You're not alone," she said. My daughter's call lingered, her guilt now active support, marking her growth. I folded the letter, tucking it beside the locket. Was my silence my cage or my shield? The recording's final words echoed, a challenge. "She'll never find it." I'd prove him wrong. The market's hum rose outside, waiting for my next move. My son's voice on the recording chilled me, but the safe's promise burned brighter. I was close to the truth. The August sun filtered through the attic windows of our old Craftsman home in Austin, its beams stirring dust motes into a hazy dance. It was 2023, 4 weeks after my son's betrayal at his BBQ. His words, "Mom's too poor to matter," still raw. The attic smelled of dust and jasmine, a farmer's market candle flickering on a crate. Creaky floors groaned under my feet, echoing memories of my seamstress days, stitching late nights in this very house. Discovery hummed in the air, electric and sharp. At 62, I'd traded art school dreams to raise my son, my hands calloused from needles and sacrifice. The locket's key, warm in my pocket, fit a lock somewhere. The will was waiting, a secret my mother-in-law had buried. I climbed the attic stairs, my best friend, 60, behind me. Her estrangement from her son fueled her support, her eyes bright with shared defiance. "We'll find it. she said, her voice steady. I nodded, my heart pounding, defiance blending with hope. My son's recorded plot, she'll never find it, threatened my claim, his greed a cold blade. It fueled my outrage, pushing me forward. We reached a cluttered corner where a local artist's painting leaned against the wall, its vibrant Austin skyline faded. I pulled it aside, dust swirling, revealing a small safe embedded in the wood. My breath caught. The locket's key fit the lock, clicking softly, but the code was missing. My best friend gripped my arm. "This is your moment," she said, her voice thick with hope for us both. The dust settled as I traced the safe's edges, my fingers trembling. Secrets don't bury truth. They birth it, I thought. My past fuels my future. A soft creak startled us. My 10-year-old grandchild stood at the attic door, clutching a crumpled paper. "I found this in Dad's room, Grandma," she whispered, eyes wide. "It's numbers." Her loyalty, rooted in my stories of Austin's old oak-lined streets, warmed me. She'd snuck in, trusting me as her hero. "I love your stories," she added, handing me the paper. The numbers, 4 digits, were the safe's code. My best friend grinned, nodding. "Open it. You've earned this." I punched in the code, my heart racing. The safe clicked open, revealing a sealed envelope yellowed with age. I lifted it, hands steady, and broke the seal. The will draft inside named me. $1 million inheritance from my mother-in-law meant for me, not my children. My breath hitched, hope flooding me. My son's plot to hide this, his insults, his greed, all crumbled against this truth. I read aloud, voice shaking, to my daughter-in-law, for her strength. My grandchild's eyes shone. My best friend's hand rested on my shoulder. The jasmine candle flickered, its scent wrapping around us. The will's weight anchored me, a legacy emerging from dust. My grandchild's loyalty strengthened my resolve, her love a mirror of our storytelling bond. My best friend's hope, tied to her own dream of reconciliation, echoed my journey. Did I find their secret or my own worth? The question hung unanswered as a noise downstairs startled us. Footsteps echoed, heavy and deliberate. Someone's in the house. Who followed me? The candle's flame wavered, Ella Fitzgerald's jazz faint from my radio below, waiting for the answer. The attic creaked below, but the will in my hands roared louder. I wouldn't be silenced again. Rain pattered on my apartment windows, a restless rhythm in the Austin night. It was August 2023, 5 weeks since my son's cruel jab at his BBQ. "Mom's too poor to matter," ignited my fight. Ella Fitzgerald's jazz hummed softly from the radio, its warmth clashing with the defiance crackling in the air. Daisies from the farmer's market drooped on my kitchen table, their petals curling like my resolve. The will draft, hidden in my drawer, named me, $1 million legacy from my mother-in-law. Could they steal it from me? At 62, I'd sown my children's futures, sacrificing art school to keep them fed. The locket's key, safe in my purse, had unlocked the attic safe, revealing this truth. I stood by my sewing machine, its dusty thimble a relic of my past. Hope had bloomed when I read the will, but my son's recorded plot, "She'll never find it," fanned my anger. I slid the will into a locked box, my fingers steady. Then I opened my banking app, heart pounding, and canceled the credit card I'd secretly paid for my son. A bold move cutting his invisible leash. The rain's rhythm steadied my breath, Ella's voice a quiet ally. My phone lit up, my son's name flashing. I answered, voice sharp. "What now?" His panic spilled out, furious. "You cut my card, Mom. You're ruining us. Fix this." His rage dismissed my newfound power, a slap after years of my support. "You can't cut me off," he shouted. "I just did," I snapped, anger surging. A text buzzed from my daughter, 32, her words a balm. "You're doing right, Mom." Her remorse for resenting my absence at her graduation had turned to loyalty, a bridge rebuilt. My husband's name flashed next, his call hesitant. "What's this about a safe?" he asked, voice low. "You gave up photography for my startup." "I didn't know, I'm sorry." His regret at 63 stirred something soft, a crack in his distance. The jazz swelled, Ella's notes curling around my anger. My son's voice echoed, his greed a shadow of the boy I'd raised. His panic revealed his dependence, a truth he'd hidden behind insults. My daughter's support and husband's regret marked their growth, pulling me from hope to fury. I paced, the floor creaking, rain tapping like a heartbeat. My love had built their world, but when did it become their entitlement? I wouldn't let them take this legacy, my mother-in-law's gift to me. Another buzz broke my thoughts. An email from a lawyer, its subject stark. "Second document found." My heart skipped. I opened it, scanning the words. It hinted at another clause in the will, something undisclosed. What was it? I locked my phone, hiding the will's secret deeper. My son's demands rang in my ears, but I refused them, anger peaking. My husband's call lingered, his regret a faint promise of change. The daisies sagged, their scent faint, but my defiance stood tall. The rain's patter softened, Ella's jazz fading to a whisper. The email's words burned. Second document found. What's in it? The night held its breath, waiting. The lawyer's email sparked a fire in me, but my daughter's voice steadied my soul. I wasn't alone anymore. The Austin Farmers Market buzzed around me, late morning sun warming the August air. It was 2023, 6 weeks since my son's cruel dismissal at his BBQ. Mom's too poor to matter set me on this path. Apple stalls brimmed with fruit, daisies nodded in buckets, and a local jazz trio played Ella Fitzgerald, her voice weaving through the crowd. Grilled corn's sweet scent mingled with tension and hope, the market's hum a heartbeat under my feet. At 62, I'd stitched my family's dreams as a seamstress, sacrificing art school to raise my children. The will I'd found, $1 million legacy naming me, burned in my memory. Its hidden clause, hinted at by the lawyer's email, could rewrite everything. Would my son try to bury it? I stood by a daisy stall, my purse heavy with the locket's key, anger smoldering from his latest betrayal. Cutting his credit card hadn't stopped his greed. My daughter, 32, approached, her eyes soft with remorse. My 10-year-old grandchild skipped beside her, her braid bouncing, her trust in my Austin stories a quiet anchor. "I was wrong to resent you missing my graduation, Mom," my daughter said, voice breaking. "You worked for us. I see that now." Her atonement for those years of distance warmed me, her loyalty a bridge. My grandchild hugged me, her voice bright. "Your stories are my favorite, Grandma." I squeezed her, my heart swelling. My best friend, 60, joined us, her gaze fierce. Her own son's estrangement fueled her support. "You're stronger than his greed," she said, nodding. The jazz trio's notes faded. If your own child raised their hand, not to hug you, but to destroy something tied to your love, what would you do? The next part is hard to hear, but necessary to feel. If you're still with me, drop a 6 in the comments, because this is where the real breaking point comes. My son stormed through the crowd, his face twisted. "You cut me off, Mom," he shouted, 38 and desperate, his career failures driving his rage. "Sign the land over." His voice drew stares, the market's hum dipping. I stood tall, anger flaring. "No," I said, firm. He grabbed my sewing box heirloom from my bag, a wooden relic of my late nights, and smashed it on the ground, splinters flying. "You're nothing," he roared, dismissing every stitch I'd sewn for him. The crowd gasped, outrage rippling. My daughter stepped in front, shielding me. "Enough!" she yelled. My best friend snapped, "She's everything you're not!" Their voices anchored me, family redefined. The grilled corn's scent stung, Ella's jazz a distant hum. Family is who stays, not who breaks you, I thought. My stitches held them. Now I hold myself. My grandchild's hand found mine, her trust unwavering. As I knelt to gather the wreckage, a small diary fell from the sewing box's debris. My mother-in-law's handwriting inside. My breath caught. A new secret in my hands. My son's greed had fractured us, isolating him further. My daughter's loyalty and grandchild's trust grew, their bonds reinforcing my love. My best friend's parallel fight, her estrangement a mirror, urged me on. I clutched the diary, standing with my daughter and grandchild at my side. Resolve hardened, a vow to claim the will's truth. My son's rage lingered, but I was unshaken. The market's buzz returned, softer now as I met my best friend's eyes. Did I lose a son or gain my heart? The diary's first page gleamed in my hand, its opening lines stark. My legacy is for her. What else does it hold? The jazz trio played on, Ella's voice rising, the market waiting for my next step. The diary's words lit a spark, but my son's fury threatened to burn it out. The storm was breaking. I stood in my son's upscale Austin home, the September evening heavy with conflict. It was 2023, 7 weeks since his cruel jab at the BBQ. Mom's too poor to matter, ignited my fight. String lights glowed above the patio, casting a warm sheen on polished tables. Grilled chicken sizzled on platters, its smoky scent blending with the apple pie I'd baked, now cooling untouched. Ella Fitzgerald's jazz flowed from speakers, her velvet voice softening the mood, but cutlery clinked sharply, a restless pulse amid rising tension. At 62, I'd sown my children's futures as a seamstress, trading art school dreams for their survival. The will I'd found, $1 million legacy naming me, was hidden in my purse, alongside my mother-in-law's diary. The locket's key, tucked inside, tied me to the will's truth. They'd face it soon. I smoothed my hand-stitched dress, resolve hardening like steel. My son, 38, glared from across the patio, his financial strain fueling his panic. His in-laws' wealth loomed, a shadow he chased at my expense. I stepped forward, purse heavy, for this pre-birthday dinner. My daughter, 32, squeezed my hand, her loyalty a balm after years of resentment over my absence at her graduation. "You're strong, Mom," she whispered, her eyes fierce. My husband, 63, stood nearby, his face softer than usual. His tech startup had long eclipsed our bond, but tonight he spoke, voice low. "What's going on? You gave up photography for my startup." His regret stirred me, a shift I hadn't expected. My 10-year-old grandchild watched silently, her trust in my Austin stories a quiet anchor. My best friend, 60, arrived, her defiance mirroring mine, her own son's estrangement, a shared wound. The apple pie's aroma lingered as I faced the table, guests settling with clinking glasses. My son's eyes narrowed, sensing trouble. "Why are you even here?" he muttered, loud enough for others to hear. The jazz dipped, Ella's voice a faint hum. My heart pounded, but I stood tall. Then it came, sharp and public. "You never mattered, Mom," he accused, his voice cutting through the crowd. "You're dragging us down," guests murmured, their whispers ablade. My daughter snapped, "You're wrong about her." My husband stepped closer, his voice firm. "She carried us all." My best friend's eyes blazed. "She's not your servant." The words stung, denying every late-night stitch, every dream I'd buried. Outrage flared, my hands trembling on my purse. Truth burns bridges, but builds futures, I thought. I'm no shadow. I met my son's glare, voice steady. "I know more than you think." I paused, letting the weight settle. "I cut your financial support. No more cards, no more help." Gasps rippled, guests whispering, public conflict brewing. My husband's regret deepened, his hand brushing mine, aligning with me. My daughter's grip tightened, her loyalty fierce. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number flashing. "The will isn't yours alone." My breath caught. Who's watching? I pocketed it, heart racing, keeping the will's secret close. My son's desperation isolated him further, his in-laws' glances cold. My husband's regret and daughter's loyalty deepened, their growth a light in the storm. My best friend's defiance echoed my own, her pain a mirror. Was my love their anchor or their chain? The question hung as my son stormed off, a note slipping from his pocket to the ground. Old house tomorrow. I picked it up, fingers trembling, cutlery clinking in the stunned silence. Ella's jazz swelled, a question unanswered. What's his plan? The string lights flickered, the night waiting for my move. His note reeked of greed, but the will's truth steadied me. Today, they'd see my worth. Dusk settled over my daughter's birthday party in an Austin backyard, the September air warm and charged. It was 2023, 8 weeks since my son's venomous words at his BBQ, "Mom's too poor to matter," sparked my defiance. Candles flickered on a towering cake, their glow dancing with the scent of apple pie and grilled chicken. Couples swayed slowly to Ella Fitzgerald's jazz, her voice weaving through the soft clink of glasses. A reckoning crackled, sharp as the evening's first stars. I stood at 62, my hand-stitched dress a testament to years of sacrifice. As a seamstress, I'd traded art school dreams to raise my children, my hands worn from stitching their futures. The will in my purse, $1 million legacy from my mother-in-law, was my triumph. The locket's key, nestled beside it with her diary, had unlocked my past. The will would free my future. My resolve, hard as oak, carried me through the crowd. My son, 38, lurked near the grill, his desperation palpable, his financial strain a noose. A flicker of guilt crossed his face, a ghost of the boy I'd raised. I approached the party, my purse heavy with secrets. My daughter, 32, met me with a proud smile, her loyalty cemented after years of resentment over my absence at her graduation. My husband, 63, stood close, his regret for neglecting my photography sacrifice now a steady support. "You're unstoppable," he whispered. My 10-year-old grandchild, her eyes bright, clung to my hand, her trust in my Austin stories a beacon. My best friend, 60, grinned nearby, her cheers echoing her own hope, her son's estrangement a shared shadow. My son pulled me aside, his voice low and harsh. "You're a leech, Mom. Give up the land." His demand, spat before guests, twisted like a knife. My daughter stepped in, fierce. "Leave her alone." The cake's clinking forks paused as I stepped forward, the jazz dipping, Ella's voice a soft hum. I faced the crowd, my heart pounding, but my voice clear. "I have something to say." I pulled the will from my purse, its pages crisp. "This $1 million inheritance is mine, from my mother-in-law." I read aloud, "To my daughter-in-law, for her strength." Gasps rippled through the guests, their whispers a tide. My son's face paled. "You're lying," he shouted, his voice cracking. "The will speaks for itself," I replied, steady. My daughter hugged me, tears shining. "You're amazing, Mom." My husband nodded, his voice thick. "I should have seen you sooner." My best friend clapped, her voice ringing. "She's unstoppable." My grandchild's hand squeezed mine, her hope alight. Justice isn't loud. It's true, I thought. I'm no longer their backdrop. My son's greed collapsed, his in-laws turning away, his humiliation complete. He fled into the house, the crowd stunned. As candles flickered, a guest leaned close, her whisper sharp. "Another document's in the safe." My breath caught. A second secret? Resolve peaked into triumph, my worth affirmed before all. My daughter's pride, husband's support, and grandchild's trust shone, redefining my family. My best friend's cheers mirrored her own hope, her journey entwined with mine. Did I break their world or build my own? The question lingered as the guest's whisper echoed, "What's left in that safe?" Ella's jazz swelled, the slow dancers pausing, the night holding its breath. The guest's whisper about another secret faded, but my daughter's embrace anchored me. I was choosing my family now. Morning sunlight streamed through my Austin apartment windows, warming the September air. It was 2023, 9 weeks since my son's venomous words at his BBQ, "Mom's too poor to matter," sparked my journey. Coffee brewed, its rich scent curling around the kitchen. Daisies from the farmer's market perked up on the table, their petals bright. Ella Fitzgerald's jazz hummed softly from the radio, her voice a gentle companion. My seamstress's thimble glinted on the shelf, a quiet symbol of my past sacrifices. At 62, I'd traded art school dreams to stitch my children's futures, my hands worn from years of sewing. The will I'd revealed at the birthday party, a $1 million legacy from my mother-in-law, had empowered me. The locket in my drawer, its key a silent partner, held a final truth. What was left to uncover? Triumph still pulsed from last night's public stand, but liberation beckoned, a chance to redefine my family. My son's absence, after his final insult, "You're a leech," lingered, his rejection a cold weight. Yet I stood firm, ready to move forward, empathy stirring for the woman I'd become. My daughter, 32, knocked softly, stepping inside with a warm smile. "I was wrong to resent you, Mom," she said, her voice steady. "You missed my graduation for us. You're my strength." Her loyalty, forged through atonement, was a bridge rebuilt. My 10-year-old grandchild followed, clutching a drawing. "You're my home, Grandma," she said, her eyes bright with trust. Her love for my Austin stories, tales of oak-lined streets, lit me up. I hugged them both, my heart full. The coffee's aroma warmed as my husband knocked, his presence unexpected. He entered 63, his face etched with regret. "You gave up photography for my startup," he said, voice low. "I didn't see you. I'm sorry." His support, newfound after years of distance, steadied me. I poured coffee, mugs clinking, and shared my plan. "The will's money will fund a scholarship for single mothers' daughters," I said, "a legacy for those like me." My daughter nodded, tears shining. "I'm here now, Mom." My husband took my hand. "You carried us all. I'm with you." My grandchild tugged my sleeve. "Will you stay, Grandma?" Family is who chooses you back, I thought. My love is mine to give now. I opened the locket's box, seeking the diary, when a small ring tumbled out. My mother-in-law's. Its gold gleamed, a surprise tucked away. My breath caught, a new secret in my palm. I set it aside, my phone silent. No calls from my son. I blocked his number, severing his hold, my fingers steady. The scholarship would be my mark, my family now my daughter, grandchild, and husband. Their mugs clinked, Ella's jazz swelling. My daughter's reconciliation completed her arc. My husband's regret solidified his support. My grandchild's trust reinforced my love. My son's absence was final, a choice I made. Did I lose a son or find my soul? The question settled as I held the ring, its inscription faint but clear. For her strength. Well, what's its story? The daisies stood tall, coffee's warmth fading, Ella's voice a quiet promise. The morning waited, soft and sure. The ring's inscription glowed in my hand, but my heart shone brighter. I was almost free. Afternoon light poured through the attic windows of our old Craftsman home in Austin, painting golden streaks across the weathered oak beams. It was September 2023, 10 weeks since my son's venomous words at his BBQ, "Mom's too poor to matter," ignited a fire in me. Jasmine candles, picked up at the farmer's market, burned low on a dusty crate, their sweet fragrance weaving through the attic's musty air. Creaky floors groaned beneath my feet, each step echoing the late nights I'd spent here as a seamstress, stitching my children's dreams under a flickering lamp. The air held a bittersweet hush, a quiet peace settling over me like a soft quilt. At 62, I'd traded my art school dreams for my family, my hands calloused from years of threading needles through fabric to keep my son and daughter clothed, fed, and hopeful. The $1 million will I'd revealed at the birthday party, my mother-in-law's legacy, had set me free, its weight a crown I'd earned. The locket, its key unlocking the attic safe, had unraveled her secrets, and now one final act would close them. I stood in the attic, liberated, whole, ready to release the past, my son's betrayal, smashing my sewing box, spitting, "You're nothing," still lingered, a bruise on my heart, but its sting had faded, soothed by the strength I held now. Empathy swelled for the woman I'd become, tougher than his insults, softer than his greed. My best friend, 60, climbed the attic stairs beside me, her footsteps light, but her smile heavy with pride. Her own son's estrangement, a wound from her divorce years ago, deepened her joy in my victory. "You've won, my dear," she said, her voice warm, cracked with emotion. Her gray hair caught the light, a silver halo framing her face. We'd shared coffee at the farmer's market, swapped stories of children who'd drifted, and now her presence anchored me. She wore a simple linen dress, her hands clasped, her eyes bright with hope for us both. "This is your moment," she added, nodding toward the safe, hidden behind a painting of Austin's skyline, its vibrant colors dulled by time. I crossed the attic, my sandals scuffing the creaky boards, memories rising with each step. I'd sewn my daughter's prom dress here, my son's graduation suit, each stitch a prayer for their futures. The jasmine candles flickered, their scent mingling with the dust, a reminder of the market's bustle, vendors calling, apples gleaming, Ella Fitzgerald's jazz drifting from a nearby stall. I pulled the painting aside, its frame heavy, revealing the small safe embedded in the wall. My fingers brushed the locket's key in my pocket, its cool metal a silent vow. The lock clicked open, a soft snap in the quiet attic, and inside, a folded letter waited, my mother-in-law's handwriting delicate as lace. I lifted the letter, my hand steady, and read aloud, my voice clear despite the lump in my throat. "Thank you for raising our family," it began, her words a balm across decades. "Your strength carried them, and this is my gift to you." My best friend's eyes misted, her hand touching my arm. "My son left me," she whispered, her voice raw. "But I found myself in the quiet. You've done the same, haven't you?" Her words wove through the jasmine scent, lingering as I opened the safe wider, my fingers brushing the letter's edges. The attic's creaks softened, the light pooling around us like a gentle embrace. The letter unveiled a final gift, a scholarship fund my mother-in-law had dreamed of, a vision to lift young women like me, single mothers with dreams deferred. My breath caught, a twist tying her heart to mine, mirroring my own plan with the will's money. I'd already set the scholarship in motion, a legacy for daughters of women who'd sewn, scrubbed, and sacrificed. The coincidence was a quiet miracle, a thread connecting her past to my future. I clutched the locket and the ring, its inscription, for her strength, gleaming in the soft light. My hands, once worn by needles, now held my own power, a legacy I'd claimed. The attic door creaked, and my daughter, 32, appeared, her eyes wet with emotion. She wore a simple sundress, her hair loose, her face softened by love. "You're my hero, Mom," she said, her voice trembling, her loyalty a beacon after years of resentment over my absence at her high school graduation. I'd worked double shifts then, stitching to pay bills, missing her moment under those bright lights. Her forgiveness, earned through our rebuilt bond, was a gift I cherished. I smiled, my heart swelling, and stepped toward the safe, the locket and ring cool in my palm. "This isn't theirs anymore," I said, my voice firm, placing them inside. The safe's door closed with a soft click, sealing the past. Letting go isn't loss. It's claiming your worth, I thought. I'm whole now. My best friend hugged me, her linen dress brushing mine, her parallel journey enriching her support. "You rewrote their story," she said, her voice thick with pride. My daughter nodded, tears spilling. "You've always been enough, Mom." The attic's creaks faded, Jasmine wrapping us in peace. My son's absence, his greed a distant echo, reinforced our severance. He'd smashed my sewing box, called me nothing. But I'd risen above his words, his world no longer mine. My daughter's pride completed her arc, her love a testament to our bond, a thread stronger than any I'd sewn. I stood by the safe, the candle's flame steady, its light catching the local art, a mural of Austin's river, its colors vibrant despite the dust. The farmer's market where I'd bought the candles came to mind, its stalls brimming with apples, daisies, and the hum of community. Ella Fitzgerald's jazz drifted faintly from my radio downstairs, a reminder of the slow dances at family gatherings, the life I'd built. Was I ever theirs or always mine? The question settled, my heart light, answered by the quiet strength in my hands, the love in my daughter's eyes, the hope in my best friend's smile. My phone buzzed, my 10-year-old grandchild's voice bubbling through. "Can we plant a tree tomorrow, Grandma?" she asked, her excitement sparking joy. Her trust in my Austin stories, tales of starry nights and oak-lined streets, was a light I'd carry forward. Will it root our future? I smiled, the attic holding its breath, jasmine candles flickering. The creaky floors whispered of my past, but I stood in my present, free, the future blooming like a daisy in my garden. The tree's saplings stood tall like my new life. I wasn't waiting for their love anymore. Morning sunlight bathed my Austin garden, the September air soft and warm, wrapping me in a gentle embrace. It was 2023, 11 weeks since my son's cutting words at his BBQ, "Mom's too poor to matter," ignited a journey I never expected. Daisies swayed in the breeze, their white petals catching the golden light like tiny mirrors. Rosemary's sharp, earthy scent rose from the soil, grounding me in a peace I'd fought to claim. Birds chirped in the sprawling oak overhead, their song a lively counterpoint to Ella Fitzgerald's jazz, drifting faintly from a radio inside my apartment. The earth felt alive under my hands, rich with possibility, its pulse matching the quiet rhythm of my heart. At 62, I'd traded art school dreams to sew my children's futures, my hands worn from years of threading needles through fabric, stitching clothes, hopes, and futures. The $1 million will, my mother-in-law's legacy, had set me free, its revelation at the birthday party a crown I'd earned. The locket, now resting in the past, had unlocked my path with its key, its secrets sealed in the attic safe. My scholarship for single mothers' daughters bloomed in the future, a true legacy I'd built from the ashes of betrayal. Liberation had carried me here, a wave that lifted me above my son's insults and the wreckage of my sewing box, smashed in his rage. Contentment settled now, warm as the sun, a quiet joy I'd never known. My son's betrayal, his venomous "you're nothing," was resolved, a shadow eclipsed by this new life. Hope and empathy bloomed for the woman I'd become, whole and unyielding. My 10-year-old grandchild knelt beside me, her small hands plunging into the soil, her braids swinging as she worked. "This tree's for you, Grandma," she said, her voice bright as the daisies around us, "like your stories." Her joy, rooted in my tales of Austin's starry nights, oak-lined streets, and bustling farmers' markets, lit my heart like a lantern. We patted the sapling's roots, laughing as dirt stained our fingers, the soil cool and damp against my skin. Her trust was a gift, pure and steady, a reminder of the love that endured. She'd sit on my porch, wide-eyed as I spun stories of Austin's past, street fairs with cotton candy, jazz bands under twinkling lights, the city's heartbeat alive in my words. "Tell me about the river again," she'd beg, and I'd paint it for her, the Colorado shimmer under moonlight, a memory I'd carried through my hardest years. The rosemary scent sharpened as my daughter, 32, stepped into the garden, her sundress catching the breeze, her smile grateful. Her loyalty, forged through atonement for resenting my absence at her high school graduation, was a bond remade, stronger than ever. I'd worked double shifts then, sewing to pay bills, missing her walk across the stage in her cap and gown. Her forgiveness, earned through tears and truth, was a thread that held us now. "You're glowing, Mom," she said, her voice soft, her eyes tracing the sapling. Love grows where you nurture it, I thought. I'm my own legacy now, no longer bound by their expectations. She held out a letter, its envelope crisp, her fingers brushing mine. "It's from a scholarship recipient," she said, her eyes soft with pride. I opened it, the paper rustling, and read aloud, my voice steady despite the warmth in my chest. "Your fun changed my life," the girl wrote. "I'm studying art and I'll make you proud." The words struck me, echoing my own art school application, scribbled decades ago in a moment of hope, before life's demands buried it. "I want to paint the world," I'd written then, a dream deferred but now reborn through this stranger's pen. My breath caught. A full circle moment tying my past to this future, a quiet miracle in the morning light. My grandchild tugged my sleeve, her hand still earthy. "Will you always be here, Grandma?" she asked, her voice a melody. I smiled, soil smudging my palms. "For you, always." My daughter hugged me, her embrace tight, her voice thick with emotion. "You're enough, Mom. You've always been enough." The tree's roots sank deep into the soil, their quiet strength sealing my growth. I stood in my garden, Ella's jazz a gentle hum, its notes curling through the breeze like a memory. "I'm no longer their backdrop," I whispered, contentment washing over me, warm and sure. I'd been their seamstress, their mother, their silent support, but now I was mine, whole, free, a woman who'd risen from the ashes of betrayal. My daughter's gratitude, her arm around me, was a testament to our remade bond, her arc complete. My grandchild's joy, her laughter as she dusted soil from her hands, reinforced my love, a light that would never dim. Their presence here, in this garden, was my chosen family, a circle drawn with care. My son's absence was final, his greed a closed chapter, his insults, "You're nothing," a distant echo. I'd severed his hold, blocked his calls, and let him go, a choice that freed me. My husband and best friend, supportive off-scene, were part of this circle, their love quiet but steady. My husband, regretful for missing my photography dreams, had pledged to stand by me, his hand in mine a promise kept. My best friend, her own son's estrangement a mirror to my fight, had cheered my victory, her laughter a song at the birthday party. They didn't need to be here now. Their faith lived in me, in this garden, in the sapling's roots. I knelt by the tree, my fingers tracing its delicate trunk, the soil cool and forgiving. The daisies nodded, their petals bright against the green, a reminder of the farmer's market where I'd bought them, its stalls brimming with apples, herbs, and the hum of community. Ella Fitzgerald's jazz faded, a hopeful note lingering in the air, like the slow dances at family gatherings, the ones I'd watched from the sidelines, serving pie unseen. Now I danced in my own light, my steps sure. Did I raise them or rise myself? The question settled, answered by the sapling's quiet strength, by the woman who stood here, no longer a backdrop but the center of her own story. A new daisy bloomed by the tree, its petals stark against the soil, a small miracle in the morning's glow. Birds sang in the oak, their trills a chorus of renewal. Rosemary scented the breeze, sharp and alive, carrying me forward. The radio's jazz was silent now, but Ella's voice echoed in my heart, a melody of hope. My garden held me, whole and free, its earth a canvas for my future. The soft hum of Ella Fitzgerald's jazz still lingers in my Austin apartment, a quiet reminder of the strength I found amidst my son's stinging words. For years I sowed my children's dreams, sacrificing my own, only to face his dismissal, "You're too poor to matter." Yet uncovering my mother-in-law's will showed me my worth. Family bonds, I've learned, thrive not on what we give, but on the love we choose to nurture, even when it means letting go of those who wound us. In life, if we hold space for forgiveness and stand firm in our value, we can rebuild what matters most. My garden's daisies bloom as proof that love grows where we tend it. If this story touched your heart, please share your own in the comments. I'd love to hear how you've reclaimed your worth. Your voice, like mine, deserves to be heard.